Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. I'd like to give a brief commentary and update on what's going on in Iraq. Of course, we were supposed to have settled that problem a long time ago. We spent 14 years over there fighting a war and all kinds of problems. But anyway, the big question is will anybody stop ISIS, which is now known as the Islamic State? They've created that overnight, and they're rather successful when you think about it. Or rather, it points out how inept our CIA is. The CIA and NSA, they're pretty good at spying on us, but they had no idea to predict what ISIS was about ready to do. So I think our money is wasted, and it's to the tune of probably up to close to $100 billion a year to protect us and take care of our national security. But will anybody stop ISIS? Well, who would be expected to? Do you think the Canadian soldiers are going to go over there? They're going to send a couple weapons and give some token support. But the only country that is capable of doing it, the burden really will fall on us. But the big problem is this whole crisis over there with ISIS is very much related and a reaction to our foreign policy. You know, we've been in that region since 1990. We inadvertently or maybe deliberately encouraged Saddam Hussein to invade Kuwait. We've been there ever since. We had a decade of bombing. And this bombing of Iraq was one of the three reasons that bin Laden used to bring about 9/11. So this has been going on a long, long time, and then of course it became a hot war in Iraq in 2002, and that went on, for another 12 years, and here we are escalating once again. Iraq has been lost. All that cost and all that money, and here it is. How are we going to stop it? So the president says, well, it's humanitarian. We have to be involved. But it's one bridge. He says, I don't like the war and we want to be out of there. But he sends the bombers back to kill people. And, of course, only kill the bad guys. But they can point out the humanitarian catastrophe over there. The long-term argument is obviously we didn't do any good there. Ever since 1990, we have been involved, and this is where we are today. What a tragedy that we have precipitated here, but there's a lot of evil out there. When you think of it, these are a bunch of bad actors, and they're vicious, and what do? It's, becomes more difficult to be a non-interventionist once we create a monster of a problem. You say, oh, well, you can't ignore it. But the truth is, the sooner we become non-interventionists, the better. The sooner then the people in Iraq would have to solve our problem. We took all that time to create a government of Iraq, so ISIS all of a sudden pops up out of thin air and the government just melts away. And right now, Kirkuk is being threatened, as well as the oil region in the north, and it is a real serious problem. We see something unfolding there that nobody quite visualized, and I don't know how they're going to come out of this. Since they're interventionists, that means they can't back off. But they'll say, well, we don't want to get back in there militarily, no boots on the ground. Well, we already have boots on the ground. We have military advisors there. We have special forces there. We have a huge embassy there. The neocons, though, are highly critical of Obama for not doing enough because he isn't marching in with the troops. One comment was, well, what we need to do is stay there until the mission is accomplished. The mission accomplished. Yeah, wonderful. How long would we have to stay, and how much money would we have to spend? So I think the message is there, the results are there. The sooner we wake up, the better. The sooner we realize that somebody else has to fight these fights, and the American taxpayers are exhausted. And one reason why everybody, even the strongest neocons, are arguing that no boots on the ground, let's just bomb them to smithereens. They realize the American people aren't supportive of it, and that's the progress we're making. It's the futility of it all. It's the futility of these long, drawn-out wars, the cost in life, and the cost in injuries, and the cost in dollars, and then the total failure. And then it becomes more violent. Obviously, the Islamic State is a lot worse than Saddam Hussein. One of the reasons we finally turned on him is, yes, he did our bidding. He went in and fought the Iranians, and we supported him, and we loaned him $80 billion, and all of a sudden he didn't have the money and couldn't pay the bill, and that was one of the reasons. Because this whole story that we had to switch sides and go against Saddam Hussein had to do with the fact that they said there were thousands and thousands of Iraqi troops ready to invade Saudi Arabia, which was not true. But anyway, the American people believed it, and the war got escalated. I want to de-escalate it. The sooner the American people realize that the de-escalation only comes with change in policy, and the sooner we accept the notion that we are a non-interventionist, we don't get involved in the internal affairs of other nations, and we shouldn't be the world's policemen, the better off we would all be. So I imagine this is going to be in the news for a while, but for now, that is my comments on Iraq and the foolishness of our foreign policy. Thank you for coming and tuning in today, and come back to the Ron Paul channel soon.